All right. Hey everybody, back with another episode of back with another podcast episode. It's been a while since I've done one of these. But yeah, basically wanted to bring it back with new season, new content, all that stuff, and I wanted to bring an episode that a lot of people actually asked for when I did the caster episode where I brought on Blevins, Casanova and Boulevard. I did like a caster only podcast episode. A lot of people asked for to do one with like seasonal champions or to do one with competitive, like really good competitive players like Jordan or people that top cut a lot or like make top fours a lot. And I thought that'd be a good idea. New season, new content. So that's what we're doing today. We got a couple seasonal champions you guys probably know of. We got Prodigy. I'll let everyone introduce themselves. We got Prodigy, Puyshpii, and Salty Simon. So no Apex seasonal champion here. The timing is just like really whack. It's already super whack because like I think Simon, what time is it for you? Like 4 a.m. or something?
It's 10 minutes away from 4 a.m.
Yeah, almost 4 a.m. So the timing is super scuffed here. But yeah, we could just we'll have you guys introduce yourselves, like how long you've been playing LoR, stuff like that. Can start with Prodigy.
Yeah, so
oh god, my ears, Prodigy. We'll start with Puyshpii. Okay, we'll start with Simon.
Yo, what's up, people? I've been playing LoR since it came out officially. So I don't know when that was. But probably like what, 2 years, I guess?
Yeah, about 2 years ago. Yeah, with the like Bilgewater release.
No, before that.
Oh, you mean?
I guess like the open beta.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, the open beta must have been.
Yeah,
so like spiders. Stuff.
Yeah, so like almost 3 years.
Is it that? Oh shit.
Yeah, it's been a long. Yeah, because it like officially came out in like 2020. That was like the Bilgewater release where they say they officially came out. Open beta was like 2019.
No.
Yeah.
Wasn't that January 2020 it came out?
No, okay. Yeah.
February.
Okay.
No, February 2022. 2020.
Yeah, that's when the yeah. Sorry, I keep getting that confused when people say beta with the like 2 weekend thing that they like shadow.
No, like the open beta was in February.
Okay.
Yeah, just 2 years.
Yeah, just two years.
A bit more. 2 years. Something like that.
All right, so now we'll go with Puyshpii.
Hi guys, I've been playing LoR also since open beta, like almost around the same time. I think like just like 1 month or 3 weeks after the open beta started.
Okay, so did you play any card games before LoR? Well, Prodigy's still getting his stuff set up. I guess I'll introduce myself. I've been playing also since basically the game came out. Since like the very first day when they shadow dropped it on the Riot like 10-year anniversary thing. I played it I got access to both of those open weekends, and I've just like played it ever since then. But have you guys played any card games or anything before LoR? Like what made you want to try LoR?
I played card games for about 10 years probably. 8 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Started with Hearthstone, moved out to like play some Magic, Shadow Wars, Duelist. I think I played basically every small card game out there.
Okay.
And then I was so tired of Hearthstone and where Runeterra came out, so I checked it out. And it was better than Magic, so that's how I started. And got hooked.
Yeah, that's pretty good. What about you, Puyshpii? Did you play anything before LoR?
Yeah, I was I did play Yu-Gi-Oh a lot before. I was very good. I topped some 2 times, the only 2 times I participated on a thing called YCS with off-meta decks that I just crafted. I was a crafter back then. Not much anymore, but I was good at Yu-Gi-Oh! And then I moved to Hearthstone. I tried to do competitive in Hearthstone, but there's so much RNG that I didn't like that much. I got tired, same as Salty, and then I moved to Magic, and then I moved to Runeterra.
Gotcha. And Prodigy, did you fix everything?
I think is everything better now?
Well, let's try it. Just introduce yourself. We'll see how it sounds.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm not sure. What's up? Yeah, so I'm Prodigy. My card game career in LoR is pretty recent. Similar to these guys, I played Hearthstone for a couple years, about a year and a half. Only played it competitively for about a year, though. Played in the collegiate scene, collegiate tournaments and whatnot. Hit Masters and stuff, but yeah, the competitive scene. I mean, one, you're just pouring money into the game, and the game is like so much RNG. It's like so hard to be consistent. So I just got really frustrated because I was pretty good at the game, but didn't feel like I really had a chance to do anything special. Played a lot of League, so as soon as they released Legends of Runeterra, it was one of the first things that I jumped on. So I downloaded the game second day, played it for about half a year, and then got busy with school, so left the game for a whole year. Didn't come back until the first Worlds. So I came back like right during when Worlds was happening. So I didn't qualify or anything, obviously, but started playing the game seriously shortly after that. Was just messing around for fun. Happened to top cut a seasonal tournament by chance, and then decided to actually take competitive seriously. So
yeah, so you haven't actually been playing LoR then for more than like a year, not even a year yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think my competitive, yeah. So like, Thanksgiving was the first top cut that I was like the first seasonal tournament that I actually like seriously played in and top cut.
What is this, America?
Yeah.
So, like November, like mid-November.
Yeah, November. Yeah. And I literally just queued my 3 favorite decks and happened to go 8-1.
So when you did that, you just randomly like trashed on these kids. You were like, wait a minute.
I was like, this game's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I brought Scion, Bandletree, and Viego Ionia.
Okay.
Not a cohesive lineup, not a cohesive plan, just my 3 favorite decks from ladder, and then ended up top 8ing.
Yeah, so that's like that's really quickly then. That must have been like you played like the season after Worlds then?
Yeah.
Was
I played the season after Worlds.
That's the one you top cut?
Yep, I lost to Kochua in his back-to-backs runner-ups.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's really fast. And we got Puyshpii. Puyshpii also won seasonals pretty quickly because he was the very first seasonal champion ever for North America, or for America Shard. But you did it in a completely different format, and the shit was like wild west back when like LoR first came out, or the competitive scene first came out. What was that? What do you guys think about the 5-0? For those of you that don't know, when seasonals first came out, instead of having like an all-day event of 9 rounds where you have to go 8-1 or better, or 7-2 with tiebreakers, you legitimately just had to 5-0 day 1. They had to go undefeated 5-0, and then you had to go again 5-0 to actually win the tournament on day 2. Do you think that was like harder? Did that make it harder to win the seasonals because you had to have a completely perfect run, or was it more like what is it like to win one of those seasonals?
Well, it's kind of hard to explain because I mean, yeah, it was very. I don't know if how to call it, because yeah, you have to go completely undefeated. But now there are many more rounds and people is better prepared than before. Actually, like very first seasonal, I don't think there was like many people that was very good at the game, including me, to be honest. So I think I kind of spiked that one, but then I started thinking like I think we I mean I'm decent at the game, and then the Master and Runeterra thing came out, and we started prepping together, and that's when Majin won, and all we were preparing, and I think like the first 2 were very different than these ones, to be honest.
Yeah. Did either of you guys play at those? Simon, did you play in the 5-0 seasonals? Were you competing in LoR?
Yeah, I played every single season.
You played every seasonal?
I went 4-1 and I tilted like 5 times.
Really? Yeah. Did you lose like your very last round?
I think I lost the first round, the first seasonal, and then after that I just did the last round, I think.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I won my first round of the first season. I won like 1-1 or something, so I was like out really early. It was like pretty frustrated because I've never played in like a hard single elim card tournament like that. Like I've played card games since about 2015, 2016, so about
single elim is just so stupid.
Yeah, so about like 6 years now or so, I think is what that math adds up to. And I've never played in like a single elim tournament like that, and I was extremely tilted. And then second season, I just like lost my first round. It was just like, okay, whatever, man. Like, to fuck this. Which was like, what? It makes me feel like people kind of discredit it, like, oh, if you won one of these 5-0 seasonals, you had to like get really lucky. Because it's like, oh yeah, you had to go 10-0 and it's like not consistent, blah 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 blah. They like discredit it, but like at the same time, there's not very many people that can go 10-0 in today's seasonals either, and I feel like it's much harder to go like 10-0 than it is to go like 7-2 and then go 5-0. Like I think going 5-0, you have to go 5-0 in both seasonals, right, to actually win the thing. So it's all about just like how to actually get to the top cut. And I think going 5-0 is definitely going to be a lot like harder. Like it'll be, I feel like people would less likely go 5-0 over and over and over again than go like 8-1 or 7-2. 7-2 is fucking ridiculous.
I mean, the 5-0 system rewards like worse players overall. Like it's easier to just idle a 5-0 than 7-2 or 8-1.
Yeah, like it's easier to high roll 5 rounds than it is to high roll 8 rounds, is like what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Also, I think like the quality overall on the top 32 when there was only like 5 rounds gets a little bit lower when people start rolling, because it's more consistent for people for better people to top in on these 9 rounds now. That's also a factor.
Yeah, we have a bunch of people that have like insane amounts of top cuts, like Jordan. Like, what am I? We've had 11 seasonals and he's played in 10 and top cut 8. He has an 80% top cut ratio.
Yeah,
that's like fucking ridiculous.
How many of them were the 5-0s? Did he make all of the 5-0s as well?
I don't think so. I know he made the very first one. I don't think he made the second one, but he
I wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, he top cut the very first one with Thehu Indoor. And he thought he was winning the entire thing because he thought Thehu Indoor was like the most broken deck ever invented. But yeah, I like how the current seasonal system is now. So what was did you guys ever feel like you could win a seasonal, or were you like playing these tournaments? Did you ever go in with the mindset of like, yeah, I'm winning this thing, or I could win this thing?
Of course.
Yeah.
What's the point if I don't think I can win?
Yeah, I mean, some people just show up to play because they like see, oh, I happen to be qualified, so let me just like play.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So the first one I played, and I just played for fun, happened to do well, and as soon as I did well, the next time I was like, oh, if I can top 8 without trying, imagine if I like put the work in. The next season I top 8'd, I top cut again, but I bombed out in the 32 because I like worked really hard and tried to like over meta game and stuff. And then the next one I couldn't play because I had like a personal commitment. So it was already canon. I hated the meta anyway, but I like couldn't play in the seasonal. And the next one rolled around, and it was a really fun meta for me, and I was just like enjoying playing the game a lot. And I literally told my team, I was like, obviously winning a seasonal is really, really hard. But if I'm ever gonna win one, it's gonna be this season.
And you just
like,
did it.
Yeah, like the meta was perfect for me, and so I did kind of like call it. I was like, I'm not gonna win one, but if I ever do win one in my career, like it will be this one. And sure enough, like that was the one. So yeah. I don't know. It was kind of crazy. Like as soon as I went into the top 32, being like, as soon as I top cut, I knew I had a good chance, because going 5-0 is like hard, but it's pretty doable. I mean, you go 5-0 in all the smaller tournaments to win stuff. So
right.
You just have to, streak a little bit. So
right. And what about you, Puyshpii, being did you think you would be the first ever North American seasonal champion? I keep calling you North American. It's America's short, but
yeah, America's short. Yeah, I on the open rounds, I was very focused on winning, to be honest. But once I went to the top 32, I didn't even think about winning. I was just playing. So
you were just playing like to have fun, or did you like not think you could win, or you just like didn't care? You were just like happy to be there, or like what was the thought process there?
Yeah, I mean, I still prepped, of course, and I wanted to win, but I kind of like forgot that I was playing for stakes, and I think that helped me focusing more on the games and playing better at the time. So, I mean, I did the prep before.
Yeah.
Because there was a week also to prep, and I did it. But once I was playing, I didn't think about winning. I was just playing.
Gotcha. Yeah, for mine, I never thought like if you told me that like past Mo, hey, you're gonna win a seasonal, I wouldn't have not believed you, but I wouldn't have believed that it was gonna be like last year or like even this year really. And then I made top cut and I realized people brought really bad decks and I brought really good decks, and there was like one person in my entire tournament that actually had good decks against me. And I was like, oh, if I can beat this guy, then this entire tournament is free. Because all I needed was top 4. Because I was really determined because it's what I needed to qualify for Worlds. It was like make or to break it. Because I didn't have ladder points. I didn't like top enough seasonals to get there on seasonal points. Because I basically would just like go 0-2 and drop. And then, yeah, so I like really needed top 4. And the one person I needed to dodge was going to hit me in top 8. So I was like very frustrated, and I was like, okay, this is like gonna determine the entire tournament. This is gonna determine if I go to Worlds or not. I like high rolled him / outplayed him / he threw like game 1 away really hard, and then the game was just like kind of done from there.
Yeah, I had a pretty similar experience. I mean, I had to make it past my round 16 opponent.
Mm-hmm.
I was very fortunate that even my hardest matchup was still a pretty even one. But every other match I went into being like very favored. Like once I made it to top 8, I went into every one being like, I have 2 super favored matchups. Like I'm 70% to win both these with both my decks, and so it just like felt very easy. Like I kind of just like cruised through the last 3 rounds because the matchups were so good.
Yeah, I remember your finals was just like a pure mirror match, right? And you just like straight up skill diff them. You were like, no, you don't understand. I created this shit.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, there's the normal way you play this deck. And then I remember I drew my opener, and it was like such a weird hand. Like my hand absolutely like sucked. And I was like, okay, well, I like don't have a hand to win this the normal way. But he doesn't realize that I can actually just smork him as in the Sundisk mirror. And so I literally just like played and smorked him. And then at the end of the game I could have killed him, but I just like decided to flip the disc him in that way to like
for the style points.
For the style points, yeah. And also to like to not like create a crazy narrative where it's like he just smorked him. Like I was like, I want to win the normal way.
You have to give it like Sundisk is finally a good deck. You have to give it its time. Well, what was the meta when you won, Simon? What meta was that? What season was that?
It was the Ori Cannon Darkness meta.
Oh, where every lineup was like AK Lee Sin Darkness, or like
yeah, it wasn't that much Lee Sin, I think.
Really?
Maybe in NA, but not in EU.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say NA, like that was everyone's lineup was AK Lee X, and then your X was either Darkness or it was like some like cringy shit.
Yeah, no. I think we only had like 1 or 2 Lee Sins in top cuts. But yeah, like my lineup was just hard targeting Darkness. I brought about 3. The kind of weird Ricorex O1 deck with Severe Akshan.
Yeah.
And Ari Cannon.
Oh, so you did bring Ari Cannon. I was gonna ask if you.
Yeah, I bought Ari Cannon Go Hard.
Yeah, I wanted Duckling.
Was it Go Hard? Not Go Hard. No, SI. I don't know.
The sure.
Go Hard in that?
You brought I played the SI version. Played Go Hard.
SI. Yeah, it was SI. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. See, because I remember you brought one deck that everyone was like, "What the fuck is this?" And
it was the correct deck.
Okay, and I wanted to bring like, because Prodigy won with an extremely standard lineup. My lineup wasn't meta at all, but it like made sense. Like none of the decks were like weird, right? Like none of the decks were tier 9. They were all just like solid tier 2 decks, but brought for a reason. Puyshpii, your lineup was also just like fairly standard for the time, right? It was like Go Hard, FTR, and something else.
No, I was not playing FTR.
Or Fiorishin or something?
Actually, I was on a different lineup. I was Go Hard, Sejuani Darius Overwhelm, like the kind of mid-range style, and Leona Aesol.
Oh, Leona Aesol. Holy, what a chat. Yeah, I remember that very first season. Everyone was just like...
First seasonal?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
People were like, Go Hard, FTR, like Fiorishin were like the only 3 decks in NA.
Yeah, Fiorishin was everywhere. I was banning insta banning that day.
Yeah, insta ban.
I will say though, yeah, the season that I won, my like no one like it was really interesting. Like no one thought Sundisk and like the Shreema decks were going to be very good. Like almost no one in the open rounds or the top cut was on those kind of decks except me and the one guy who made it to the finals.
So, really? Like, I thought everyone like I thought everyone was gonna like target it. I thought it was really good that season, right?
No, it wasn't. It was Aphelios and Pantheon were the two best decks by a mile.
Was this after the Sundisk nerf or something?
Yeah, this is post Sundisk.
Oh,
nerf.
okay.
Yeah, I won with Sundisk post nerf.
Oh, gotcha.
So yeah, everyone thought Sundisk was dead. Everyone thought that Pantheon and Aphelios were like the two best decks.
Mm-hmm.
FTR was also very strong, and there was I think one or two other decks. But basically, what ended up happening, and like what often happens in NA, is people like the mid-range decks are like really good, and then people like go to like play anti-mid-range, like the Heimer Jaces of the world and stuff.
Yeah.
And so basically, everyone was like on like Pantheon plus like Heimer Jace plus like something else. And I basically just farmed every single Heimer Jace player. But I think I was the only person on triple Shreema. The other person who was in the finals was on 2 Shreema and Pantheon. And I think we were like 5 of like the 8 or 9 Shreema decks in the entire top cut. Like there wasn't many.
Okay.
But it just felt like a lot because Sundisk had been dominating the patch before.
Yeah,
and
I
then
guess
they nerfed it like 2 weeks out.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that was post Sundisk nerf. I thought that was during the Sundisk meta.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can move into the viewer questions because we have a lot. I did not expect to get this many. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I thought we were gonna like shoot some shit for like 40 or 50 minutes and then the last 10 minutes answer a couple questions. But we got like 40 something questions. So yeah, so we'll just kind of go through these and we'll talk about them and just have like talking points for as long as we want, really. And then once we run out of shit to say, we can just go to the next one. So I'll just pull the ones like in order. So the first one is from K Felt, and he says, "I know you're all amazing players, but over the course of a tournament, how many games do you think are won where you needed luck? So this includes things like you needed a pivotal top deck or your opponent throwing / misplaying the game." So I assume he means like to top cut, or like does he mean like to win the tournament?
I think he means to win.
So like to win the whole tournament. So what is that? 15 rounds, 14 rounds?
Yeah.
Out of the 14 rounds, how many do you guys think you're like, I won this round, or I needed luck to win this round?
What is this question?
Yeah,
that happened to me twice. Like I was in on the open rounds, the very last round. I was in need to win a favorite matchup. Actually, I went 10-1 in total, and and on the last round is the one that I lost. I was on Raven Ezreal actually, and then I decided to just change that deck because I felt like I wasn't on favorite. Then on the top cut, I was playing against my worst lineup, full aggro. And both games I stayed at 1 HP. Both games I won. So without that one, I think I needed the luck to win those matchups, to be honest.
Gotcha.
And then the rest, I was planned to play versus the rest of the field. So.
Okay. Yeah, we'll just say like what like in the tournament in the seasonal you won. Like how many rounds did you win just off of pure luck? So Puyshpii is 2. What about you, Prodigy?
I don't think I actually had any. In other tournaments I've played, I've definitely needed luck to win. The seasonal that I won, I was hyper prepared on my decks. And yeah, I don't think I had anything like too crazy. The decks that I was playing triple Shreema, right? And those regions run a bunch of predict. And so they're very consistent. So I didn't actually have to high roll very much to win. The other seasons that I've played though, and I've top cut, like normally it's like my top cuts are either stopped short by a high roll, or I'll be like in a close game and I'll win it off a high roll. So there is definitely some luck, but I wouldn't say it's like a massive amount when you're playing well. Top cut though is a different beast. Like my last top cut from this season was lost off a very, very low roll on timelines. I had a 70-30 matchup with timelines into Thresh Nasus, and just my opponent had a really nuts opener, and I had a really just poor one. So
gotcha.
Luck definitely does factor in when you have to go 5-0.
About Simon?
I mean, if you ignore like the hidden luck of like draws, yes, we just talk about the straight up luck that anyone can notice.
Yeah, just like the things that were like I probably wasn't winning this game if like this didn't happen.
Top deck.
I mean, my opponent played like pure garbage in the finals,
Oh, okay.
and he was super favored.
Alright,
No, it was insane how bad he played.
all right, time to
I
name
should
drop.
never won it.
Who was it in the final, Salty?
I don't remember.
Oh my goodness, that's
I
worse.
actually don't remember. I don't remember. I think I always mix him up with 4W. But he has a similar name. I don't actually remember.
Okay.
It's something like that.
Fair. Yeah.
But yeah, like that for sure. I would never win if he didn't play bad. But I don't know if I would consider that luck.
Yeah. I don't think. Yeah. I think that's kind of like also what he implied here is just like opponents playing poorly, because it's not like you didn't
like,
get lucky. They kind of just like handed it to you.
Yeah.
Like you
There's
got
a lot of
lucky.
things that you can do to affect your opponent's misplays as well, right? Like
Right. Yeah, for
pressure
sure.
points and bluffing cards and stuff. But like straight up like Arnie stuff. I don't think it's that often.
Yeah.
I think like card draw matters a lot. Like if you talk about just all luck, I think it's probably matchup wise, it's probably 80% of all your games comes down to some luck. Just like what lineup you end up facing against in like open rounds is like so important.
Yeah, I think
actually making it today too.
Yeah, I think that's like the most important thing for me. Like me specifically for mine, I remember was just lineups, like just whatever lineups I was hitting. Like fortunately, I picked, in my eyes, a really good lineup for the field where I just like planned to hit all of these like really bad, like the anti meta decks, and I just like beat all of them. There were a couple lineups that I played against. Like I played against Majin when he was on a very good anti-aggro lineup. Like he was playing like Demacia Targon, like mid-range, but he played like 2 Radiant Guardians and 3 of the Sun Forger guy, like the big lifesteal guy. Drew none of them. His game 2, he opened with like 0, 1, and 2 drops. So like that was really big for me. Outside of that round, and then that top 8 round where I was against a really bad lineup, or like bad lineup for me to play against, but he kind of just like played poorly, and then my decks kind of just like ran him over because he had a bad deck. That was it. So probably about 2 rounds for me. So 2 rounds for me, 2 rounds for Puyshpii. Prodigy said about probably none, and then Simon just said like the finals was pretty free because they just played bad. Not necessarily luck, they just handed you the win.
I mean, we talk about the luck that you can just measure directly and see. Yeah.
I think part of this might come about because like if you watch the highlight, like the games from this last season, there were a couple games that were like very much decided by like Reggie hits or like top decks, right? There was like a top deck, the top deck,
Unspeakable Horror
for lethal, and like things like that where you're just like, oh yeah, that was like not statistically gonna happen, right?
Yeah,
like, that should not have happened.
Well, to be fair, he should have won with the fucking spider,
right,
but
right. But I think as a spectator, you can get caught up and you're like, the other player should have won, like the better, whatever. You can get frustrated and you're like, wait, are all these tournaments like just decided by a top deck? And it's like sometimes they are, but sometimes they're not.
Yeah,
but it's also like you could also just had that Unspeakable Horror before, right? Like you probably had some card you didn't need. It's just looking at just their top deck's perspective. It's just so silly in the end.
Yeah, I also think the last 2 seasons, the meta and the cards available were so different compared to the seasons that we played in. Because like the seasonals that we all won, there weren't like many of these cards that were just like, hey, generate like I won the seasonal right before all this RNG shit happened. Like right before that entire like Bandle City set dropped, and we started getting like fucking Manifest, Mayor, Telescope, like Reggie, all this bullshit was like, I was the last seasonal winner before that, and yeah, I feel like the game is like so different now.
Yeah. I mean, expression and like flexibility is a big part of the game now. Like you have to be, you have to almost play to luck now, and like not that you're getting lucky, but you have to play to like be very flexible with whatever cards you're offered, which is a slightly different skill than executing the same game plan over and over, right? So.
Yeah. All right, let me go to the next question. So the next question, Nick Makes Plays says, do theoretical seasonal champions count? No.
What?
No.
Bro, get the fuck out, Nick. It's insane.
He hasn't even
what does that even mean?
He hasn't even theoretically made it to round 3 yet, so I don't think you can be a seasonal champion if you can't go 3-0.
Yeah. No.
All right. Next one. What's your night before seasonals ritual? That was from Random7. Do you guys have rituals before your games or top cuts or anything?
No.
Not really. No.
Not
Just
really.
like get some sleep, play some games. Normally whatever is the new hotness, I try to just get some reps in against that.
I have like
So
a
I'm, like,
morning
ready for
routine. I like a day before routine is a bit too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. Also morning routine.
Mm-hmm. All right. What's the
ready
morning
for it.
routine then? Just like
Yeah,
normal
so
stuff, or?
like practice your decks a little bit, but not so much that you get burned
Oh,
out.
I fucking hate playing the game just before tournaments. I cannot.
Yeah, I'm with Simon. I will log in. I'll play one
Yeah.
game to warm up.
Because then you lose and you start questioning everything.
Not so much games, like 3 or 4.
No, I can't. I
Warm up.
can't.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you would call this a ritual, but I just like straight up stop playing my card game like 1 to 2 days before the tournament, because usually I play
Yeah, that's not the day before.
yeah.
But then, yeah.
I like jam the fuck out of games before the tournament though. Like when I was prepping for the last seasonals that I tryharded in, I was playing like practicing TF Nami and shit. I was literally cranking out 100 games in 24 hours.
You tilted me so much with that tweet, by the way. When you said you didn't come. So you misplayed so much. I actually was fuming.
Yeah, that seasonals was fucked. I misplayed really hard and also got really unlucky, which made it like go hand in hand. Like, did the unluckiness really matter? It's like I definitely could have played well enough to still top cut, but at the same time, it was like my RNG that day was not helping it out in any way, shape, or form. Which you shouldn't be relying on RNG to top cut, but it just made it feel like so much worse.
I have really interestingly enough, I actually enjoy getting a few. Like I play a like decent amount of games like right before, not like the day, like the night before, and then I play like 1 or 2 games the morning of. Like the seasonals I won, I actually woke up and played like 3 or 4 games, and I lost like every single one, and it actually felt great.
Oh god.
No, like it's so funny. So like for me, whenever I lose a bunch, I'm like in my mind, I'm like getting it out of my system. So like I played like 3 practice games against another top 32 competitor. I played against Spids, and I like lost 0-3, and I was like, great. It's like I lost. I'm done losing for the day, right? It was just like really funny.
You just decided to stop losing.
Well, I got really unlucky on like 2 of them, and I was like, cool, like that's really unlucky. It's not gonna happen again. Like I'm good to go. Like it's all out of my system. And then sure enough, like for me, it's like there's like an anxiety of like losing, and as soon as I lose, that like goes away. So
Interesting.
I actually don't mind taking a couple losses before. It's when I'm like winning a bunch before a tournament that I get more nervous, because like I'm expecting it to run out soon.
No, you're just weird, man.
Yeah, I am just weird at that. But anyway.
No, I'm with Simon. I can't play games before. I can't play games during. Like fucking Tippy Tips, dude. That guy's a crackhead. He streams his seasonals on 0 minutes delay. And then like in between rounds, he's just sitting there cranking out ladder games. Like just non-stop playing LoR. I could not do that.
You got to sit down and like think about like what you're doing, what you're misplaying. I don't know. Like it helps.
That explains why I never made top cut, huh?
Yeah, I mean, he's made a couple.
Yeah, he's top cut, I think. Right?
Oh, no,
I think like twice.
I don't know any.
Yeah. But that would definitely explain why he probably hasn't top cut more than he probably should have. But yeah. All right, so next one, how many games/hours do you guys grind to get the 7-2 seeding? And then how do you handle 3 to 4 consecutive losses? I'm just going to assume all of this pertains to ladder. Like, how do you deal with losing 3 to 4 times in a row on ladder?
Yeah. I mean, he's talking about like any grind, right? For 7-2 spot.
Yeah.
I mean, I never camp it, so for me, the games never stop, so I don't really calculate that.
Okay. I have a question.
I never really...
Do you not camp because like you just personally think camping is dumb, or do you not camp because EU does not allow you to camp because of how much the ladder is constantly shifting?
I usually don't need to camp.
You don't need to
I would
camp
win anyway.
Yeah, sure, just win.
Most of the time. I mean, I failed this season, but this season I didn't play at all. Like I hated the meta, but like this is the only time I failed 7-2 spot.
So you're just that like confident.
I feel like if you are not confident that you can get the 7-2 spot, I don't see how you can have the mentality of like winning a seasonals. Like that doesn't function anymore to me at all.
Right. So you're just confident. You're just like, yeah, like I'm a good enough player where I'm just gonna win more than I lose to consistently gain LP anyways. Because if I'm not, then I'm not gonna win seasonals anyways.
Like of course, if it's like last day and I have the spot, like of course I'm not gonna start yamming random decks. Of course, like not. But
okay.
Overall, like I don't want to camp. Also because I think like that is still a great practice. You just get good meta reads and stuff.
Right.
Sure. I grind a crap ton on my Smurf once I lock it in. So I normally try to, like my goal normally is to lock in my 7-2 seeding before patch, which means I have to grind a crap ton. I probably put in, 40-50 hours maybe. I'm trying to think. I'll put in like 400 or 500 games, and if each, so that's like, it's probably about 40-50 hours. But like granted, like that's like not the best time to climb. But I just like to get it all done before the patch because I know what's strong, I know what's broken, I know what I can abuse, and then after the patch I can get on my Smurf and I can just play everything and not care. And I'm like, I think my biggest strength in tournaments is like I bring really clean deck lists. Like I have a ton of players all like in my DMs asking for like my newest versions of decks, because like I pride myself on having like really good meta calls of like, oh yeah, for this meta and for this matchup you want to tech in 2 of these. And that only comes with like testing lots of random crap. And so like that's what I try to use the weeks after the patch for, is just to like play a bunch of different decks, play a bunch of different cards in said decks.
Right, and like learn the meta and stuff, right? Because that's like tournament patch meta, so it's like
exactly. So I want to be playing a little bit of everything. I don't want to be grinding the best deck.
Right. Because we already know what decks were probably good, and we can still look at others to see like what's good in general. You just want to like get shit refined and random shit.
But in the past, when I've had to do it on the same patch, I think it's a lot easier. I normally like actually most of the time I've locked in 7 and 2 the week of. It's been off like just 10 hours of climbing, like 5-10 hours of climbing, like probably about 10. Because I'll be like at 200 LP because you're floating around 200. I'll need to get to like 5 or 600.
Yeah.
And I'll just hit 2 streaks, like 2 nights of like streaking. So I'll like play like for 4 or 5 hours. I'll streak for like 4 or 5 hours twice, and that'll be all my LP.
Yeah.
And I'll normally play like during garbage hours, which is like past midnight where I'm at.
What about you, Puyshpii?
So I don't play a ton of games. Honestly, I just play like a few a day. Normally, once I reach masters, I play a few decks until I find the one I feel comfortable to climb with, and then I just in total like combining the different decks that I play, because I just play like 5 to 10 games a day at most. I think like between 150 to 100 games, I get the LP that I want.
Yeah. Gotcha. How many times have you guys got 7-2 seeding? Because I've only ever got it once. It was this last season, and I jammed like, I easily jammed like 600 games and ended rank 4.
Every season except the last one we had and one more.
Okay.
I've had it 3 times. I've had it 3 of my 5. 3 of the. Well, I've had it 4 times, I think. Yeah, I've had it 4 times.
I think I had it almost all of them, but the 3 of those seasons I didn't go to 7-2.
3 of them you didn't go 7-2?
Huh?
Wait, what did you say was the last part?
Oh yeah. All of the seasons, but 3.
But 3. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only got it once. Did you guys use did you go 7-2? Obviously, Puyshpii, you didn't. But Prodigy and Simon, did you guys go 7-2 or need like use those breakers to get into the top cut of the seasonal you won?
Yeah.
Or did you go like 8-1?
The one I won?
Yeah, the one you won. Did you go 7-2 with breakers, or?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Yeah, I went.
I was supposed to know.
I did. I went 7-1 and then
just like left.
Played the last one. Well, I played the last one, but I wasn't
did,
like I wasn't like hardcore grinding, you know.
Yeah.
I only went 8-1 once, and I didn't win that one. Yeah, no, I did. I did have 7-2 spot. I must have had.
So. Gotcha. Yeah, 7-2 is fucking broken, man. That shit's OP.
Yeah,
I mean, it is like it's 1 loss, like 1 loss is massive.
Yeah, that's huge. All right.
But it's also it doesn't make sense. The tiebreaker system is so.
Yeah, these tiebreakers don't make fucking sense. Like, why are we grinding this other? That's a whole fucking other topic. That's like a whole nother podcast topic. Whole nother fucking podcast. All right, Shark Bait, Cosmic Shark Bait asks, comfort picks or meta decks? Which one's better for best of threes? I'm assuming they just mean like seasonals instead of just
meta decks.
meta decks. What do you think, Prodigy?
Meta decks.
As long
I
as
mean,
they make sense.
if you can, yeah, as long as they make sense and you can play them well.
Like you don't just take like the free meta decks you can find and just put them together. Like as long as they have a coherent band strategy and stuff like that, meta decks is always better than comfort.
Yeah, I would say though comfort has a lot of power. If you can make a lineup that's comfort that is cohesive, I would bring that over like 3 meta decks that you don't have comfort on that are like if both lineups are cohesive, like I would play the comfort cohesive lineup over the meta deck cohesive lineup. If for most people, if you don't have the time and reps to really sit down and pass or something, because the percentage points that you get from playing, like people don't realize, like if you play a deck better than everyone else, you're getting about 5 to 10% on that deck, and if you and that's massive. And if
it
you
depends what comfort deck you're playing.
Yeah.
If your comfort is like mono Fiora with Fiora, like
right. Yeah, if your meta deck's like if your comfort's tier 2 and the meta's tier 1, like play your tier 2 stuff. If your comfort's like
like tier 9,
like the stuff Sunny's Sunny's playing on his YouTube channel. Beware.
I like I don't know. I usually tell people I don't know. I tell people to kind of play what they know how to play, and then like hopefully that is a meta deck. Like hopefully you know how to play these like good decks. But I think it's way better for you to play a deck that you know how to play like really well than to like pick up a broken deck and then just like play it poorly and not know. Like when you guys remember when Zoe Nami first came out, like that deck like very very first came out, and the people that didn't actually know how to play it thought the deck was dog shit because they would go like Zoe on 1, or they would like pass turn 1 and then just like double trouble on turn 2, and they didn't know how to like actually play the deck and save mana, and they didn't learn the curves and stuff, even though it was like by far one of the strongest decks in the entire game. It's like shit like that. Like I think it'd be better for you to play literally any like tier 2 deck, or maybe even a tier 3 deck, if you're gonna play it well and know how to play it, then pick up like Zoe Nami and then just like not play it correctly at all. In the slightest. All right. Let's see. Cappy Blast. I don't know how to say this. Is a European name. He says, "Did any of you wake up on the day of Top Cut and then just feel like, yeah, you're winning this shit today?"
Yeah, every seasonals.
Every seasonals. I don't think I did. I think I didn't even care. I actually didn't care about winning at all. The only thing I cared about was making top 4 and qualifying for Worlds.
I felt really good. I don't know that I would have said I felt like I was winning it, but I felt like I was gonna do well. Like I felt like if I don't lose in the first round, I'm gonna make a deep run. Yeah, that's how I felt. And after I won the first 2, I was very, very confident after that, because I looked at the field and I just saw all the matchups and they were all free.
And Puyshpii, you kind of said like
you have to feel very confident when you're going into tournaments, because mentality is also a big part of doing well in a tournament setting. If you are like thinking that like, I need to be lucky or something like that, doesn't help, because you have to be thinking more about your outs and what the lines you need to take to actually win. So yeah, you kind of have to be in that mindset.
Yeah, if you go into a match saying I'm winning this match, how do I like do that? It's a lot more helpful than like trying to like not lose or like trying to escape.
Yeah, I think mental is pretty important. I think you can't be like overly confident to the sense of like, oh, I don't even need to play. Like I can just slam cards down because I'm gonna win the game and I'm that confident. Yeah. But I think you should at least not, like if you go into it thinking you're gonna lose, like you guys said, it's probably not gonna go well for you.
Yeah.
Jack Pringle says, "Do you guys agree with Jason Florent's rant about wanting best of 3 ladder?" I don't know. I don't really know what his rant is. All I see him say is like best of 3 ladder saves LoR in competitive Runeterra, and I don't think that's true.
Best of 3 ladder doesn't make sense, man.
I have to disagree with Florent.
I think Yeah, I don't think best of 3 ladder. I think people kind of focus on the wrong thing, and this might just be a whole nother tangent with competitive LOR. And it's like the thing that's wrong with competitive LOR right now is you have to play this like less competitive format, not even non-competitive, because ladder's still somewhat competitive, but it's just like not nearly as competitive as best of 3, and it's just like a completely different fucking format than the actual tournaments are that we have to prepare for. And it's just like all of these issues, and then like the fucking the like seeding system of having to get top 12 of this thing that has absolutely nothing to do with the tournament, not even the same format or anything. It's like all of those problems need to get addressed, and best of 3 ladder is a way you could address it, but I don't even think it's close to one of the best ways.
Just make it the regular Switch tournament.
Yeah, I want best of 3 as a regular format that I can play, and I think ladder would be a way to do that. But I also think you could also just do like, a tournament on Saturday and a tournament on Sunday that you play for, seeding points or whatever. Right?
Yeah. I think there's like, you could do like a tournament series to like qualify. You could make Gauntlet give you like buys, like implement that into the Gauntlet system or something, or make Gauntlet have a rating where it's like, oh,
I
the
would
top.
just like have an elo, or something, right?
Yeah.
Like a chess elo.
Yeah. The elo system.
A chess elo? Do you mean it doesn't reset?
Well, like probably like some kind of like soft reset, but like imagine if you had like a BO3 elo, right? And you could like you could do friendlies, but you could also like play in tournaments, and like your elo would be affected by like you wouldn't have to play in every tournament to like you wouldn't have to like play every single day, every single tournament to like get a good seeding, right? But you would want to play in some tournaments to do well, to get a good elo for seeding points or something like that, right? I think that'd be really cool.
I mean, I think you end up rewarding people that play the most then.
Well, I don't think, I think if you do it right, if it's an elo system, I think hopefully you can get to the point where it's not rewarding people that play the most.
But it's hard if you don't have an actual like deadline. And
yeah, I think the best thing would be to just run it like a normal fucking tournament that every other card game in the history of forever has ran. Like just run it as this, 9-round day 1, 7-2 makes day 2, or like use the tiebreaker, say, hey, if you go 0-2 and then win 7 in a row, your tiebreakers are going to be much worse than someone that goes 7-0 and then loses the last 2.
Yeah.
And then just like let the people that go 7-0 and then like lose 2 make top cut over the people that go 0-2 win 7 in a row and stuff like that. It just feels better as a card player to me, and it just feels more in line with what I've learned and what I feel like is more correct, instead of basing it all on this random completely third party shit that should not have anything to do with this tournament that I'm playing in.
Yeah. But I do want best of 3s to be meaningful in some way.
I do get why they have it though, because I feel like a lot of people will just not play ladder at all.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. That's the $1 million problem, right? Is like if you make, like, let's say you give all of the buys to like Gauntlet, and you give Gauntlet a rating system. Who the fuck is gonna be playing best of 1 ladder? Like people that just want to put rank 1 ladder in their fucking Twitch stream title.
Yep.
Those are the only people who are gonna play it.
Right. I would like split it where it's like the top 7-2 people with ladder, and the other half top 7-2 with Gauntlet. Then either one's meaningful or something.
Like Magic Arena has both best of 3 and best of 1 ladder combined.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, the difference is like Magic Arena has the like fucking 100 times the player base of LOR probably.
Yeah.
That's probably
really. I don't know why they have it combined. I don't get that.
Yeah, that's why they could pull that off. Is because they have just such a big player base that it's fine.
But I'd imagine on Magic Online, I have no idea, but I'd imagine like there's probably an optimal method to climb, right? If you're like a top player in Magic, there's probably
like you get more by winning a best of 3, right? Than you get winning a best of 1.
And also there's less variance, so you would probably just play best of 3 if you wanted to climb.
Yeah,
you probably have like a high win rate, but best of 3 as well.
You play best of 3 to climb unless it's like the last like day or something, or unless you're like super crunched on time, like literally the day of or something, or the couple hours. Then you just like spam out best of 1 and try and like high roll people. Is what I've seen. That's what it was like when the arena first came out and it started to matter. I don't know really much about lately, but yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's get another one. What makes a seasonal champion? That's an extremely broad question. Consistency. Well, what do you guys think is the most? I'll make the question better. What's the most important things to like becoming a seasonal champion, or just like a really good card player to the point to where you could win a seasonal championship? Like for me, it'd be like consistency. Like just being really consistent is probably the most important thing.
Yeah, but what does that even mean? Then, like, how are you being consistent?
Sure, just like
everyone wants to be consistent.
Yeah, just like making the like most optimal decisions, like saying like, oh, this has the highest % chance to be good for me, and it's like being able to know what that is at every point in the game state, being like, yeah, taking this damage and then playing this card.
You're basically just saying get good. Like, that's what you say.
Well, because it like depends, right? It depends on like whatever the situation is. Like I can't sit here and state every single game state and say like, yeah, and here you do this, but but that's basically the answer. Is just like learn the different game states. I guess that's it. It's like learn game states and learn exactly how to like where you're strong at and like how to make good plans around it. Like say like, yeah, I can take damage here because my hand is this, and I can do this and apply pressure here. Or say like, no, I can't afford to take this damage because like XYZ, so I need to block. And I feel like those like micro decisions is what a lot of like Twitch chat doesn't see, or a lot of like bronze players don't see. And they're like, oh my god, why didn't you block with a stupid streamer? And then you like lose to the 10%, right? Like let's say not blocking is a 90% to win, and then you don't block, and then you end up hitting that 10% to lose, and then people are like, oh, you're so bad streamer, blah blah blah. It's like you can't focus on the outcome. You have to focus on what the like highest % chance of actually winning is.
Yeah.
I mean, people have to have a good decks, because even if you are having the best decision every game, if your decks are not good or not prepared for the field, that's not gonna work.
I will say, I think.
Oh, my ears, Prodigy.
Oh, God, Prodigy.
Okay, Simon, what's your answer for now?
I don't know, Mo. I don't know how to answer this.
Yeah,
it's a weird question.
I feel like it's one of those questions.
What makes a seasonal champion, huh?
Yeah, or just like what makes somebody good enough to win? Like how do you get to that point?
Man, I get to the point is just by playing a lot of games, man.
Yeah, right. I feel like that's just the answer, and that's like such a shitty answer to give, because that answer is literally just like just play the game, or like just get good forehead. But in reality, I feel like that's all card games really are. It's just like understanding.
It's all video games, man.
Yeah, it's just like understanding every board state. Like literally play 1,000 games to where you've like experienced every board state, or can like experience as much as possible, and then so that way you know, oh, I've been here, this is what I should do, or my deck does this well, so I should do this, and play like around my deck strengths or their deck's weaknesses and stuff.
I guess we can pretend that like tilting is bad for you and you should not tilt.
Yeah,
that's not true though, but we can pretend.
Yeah, I don't know. I think tilting is one of those things where it's like, if you can like actually physically feel yourself tilting, then you should probably just like stop playing.
Nope.
But like, no, I think.
Nope, you play until you got it back. Otherwise you're a loser.
No, okay.
Literally a loser if you stop.
I say that. I actually did that earlier today. I went on a streak. I started today like D2 60 LP or 80 LP, and I was like really close to being like the third person in Masters. And I shit you not, I lost every fucking game for 3 hours straight.
Yeah, that happens.
And then
Mo, I lost 800 LP one day.
Yeah, I've lost 800 LP in 2 days. And then I was just like, and then right after losing 3 hours in a row, I was like, okay, fuck this. I was like, I'm just gonna play, and then on my next loss, like I'm gonna go fucking bed or something. I was like, I'm gonna go eat food. And then I literally just won like 13 straight, and I was like, dude, that's such a weak mental. Like, why was I gonna quit? Like, just fucking play the game. Like, it's learning. Like, just learn, man. Just use it all to learn.
It's good for you. It's good to tilt.
I have a few words of advice. I would say the first thing is don't play overly scared. I see people a lot of times like play really safe of like, well, if they have this card, then they blow me out. And it's like, you have to know when it's like, you have to know when to play around a card or when not to play around a card. Because sometimes you're just never going to beat a card if they have it in their hand, or the EV, right? If you play around a card and they have it, okay, you're still in the game. But if you play around a card, if you don't play around the card and they don't have it, you just win the game. Like, you need to know when to take those risks and to say, if they don't have this, I'm winning this game. and so I'm just gonna like rip it. And yeah, that's risky, but you need to understand when it's better to be risky and when it's better to be safe. And I see a lot of people be very, very safe when they probably should just rip it. So.
Yeah, I think that's like this logic of like, oh, I have to play around the card, and it's like every turn you play around the card just increases the chance that you get fucked by it, which is something that I feel like a lot of people don't understand, especially newer players against control decks. They're like, oh, well, my opponent has an avalanche, so I'm just not gonna play units ever. And it's like, well, the problem with that is you have to kill them, right? Like, you can't just hit them for 2 over and over again and expect to win. And so eventually you're like, oh shit, like it's about to turn 8 and he's about to play like a pillar and kill me next turn. I guess I'll like spam out all my units now. And it's like, well, at this point in the game, they're for sure gonna have something.
Yeah. I mean, you have to like, there's a fine line of like, if you're gonna play around a card, then play around it all the way. If you're gonna disrespect a card, then disrespect it all the way. Don't do like this like hedging. I see a lot of people do that where they're like, well, like if he has it, I like want to like kind of be okay. You know, it's like, well, if you're gonna like play around him having it, then hold the mana up for the counter spell or whatever, or at least bluff it, or whatever. But people don't want to do that. Also, baiting things out is like another big skill of like, if they're running a bunch of avalanche, make the board seem just good enough where they would want to avalanche, and then play all your good stuff down.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like,
it just goes back to like the first point. It's like learn the game stage, right? And, like all we're talking about now is just like, yeah, learn how to play around avalanche. Like just learn what it's like to say like, hey, you're in a scary enough spot to where it's like, if you don't avalanche this, I'm okay with open attacking. If you do avalanche this, I have enough to redevelop that it's fine. Just like learn to put yourself in those spots. All right. How does everyone feel about the current state of competitive support? Do you think we'll ever see different formats? Do we even have competitive support?
I don't think it's gonna move anywhere. It's gonna stay like this. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I see there are efforts, but I have not seen what they are, like moving Brewing to own the competitive scene and all of that. It's kind of a step in the right direction, but we still have to see what that is. So I don't know.
I mean, Ruben's in charge of it now, and I think he mentioned there is going to be some changes and some growth moving forward. We're not going to see it until after Worlds, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think there might be a little bit of growth. I think the player base needs to grow more, and they need to do like a better job of like trying to get at least a little bit of revenue or something from the competitive scene, which they can totally do, right? They can just like make some entry fee tournaments or whatever, right?
You know what I
I
think?
don't know if that's legal to do.
Yeah, that's not illegal to.
We can go on to gambling laws.
Yeah,
It's kind of strict in America, I think.
How does Magic do it then?
Yeah, Magic has.
I don't know how Magic
does
so it's like really skewed. So it's like there's some law where it's not like, oh, I'm spending $5 to try and like win $10,000. It's like I'm giving you $5 for an experience of like playing this card game. It's like,
yeah, so like events and stuff like that. That's always like, that's fine, right?
Right. It's just like here's $5 or here's $60 so I could show up to this venue with cosplayers and hang out and play this game. It's not like
even in-person tournaments are the same thing. They do the same.
Yeah, and it's not this just like I'm spending $5 strictly to play from my house in order to try and win $10,000.
But Magic Arena has something like that. Like you pay their currency to enter tournaments, and you can win money on those, like $2,000.
Yeah, but their currency is also
right.
different than
Yeah,
money, right?
Yeah, their currency isn't real
It's probably
money.
always a way to cheat the system somehow.
Yeah, we could totally do that. Like you just
I think the biggest thing.
Like, they probably could find a way to do it.
Yeah, I think the thing that like so many games miss out on, not just card games, but games in general miss out on, that I think Dota does like geniusly, that I don't know why every other game in existence hasn't done this. But it's like you make some type of merch or some type of like skin for your game cosmetic, and it's like every person that buys this, like some percentage of it goes towards the world's pool. That's why like the Dota worlds, like the internationals, get prize pools of like in like $10 million and shit like that. Like, what is like the international prize pool?
Yeah, it's like 15 or something.
$40 million last year.
Gosh.
Like, yeah, because they set up these things like, oh yeah, if you buy this skin for like $5, then it like so much of it goes towards the prize pool. And it's like LOR could totally do that. Like, you just say like, oh yeah, if you buy this little legend, or if you buy like the board, or you buy the pack or whatever, you know. And I feel like so many people would buy that. One, because it's cool, but two, to show like at least a little bit of like support to the competitive scene.
I mean, and imagine if like there was like tournaments that you had to pay to enter, and instead of getting cash prizing, it was just like you get exclusive skins and stuff, right? People would totally play in, like they would pay to enter tournaments just to try to win exclusive content.
Yeah, I think the market for that's probably still like really low. Because the thing is, like, I don't think so. With Magic can get away with it because they're so big that people will spend $60 to literally go play Magic for 9 rounds at an open with zero like false idea of that they actually have a chance of winning the tournament, because they just have so many fucking psychos. LOR does not have the player base for that, and I don't think there's enough players that would willingly just be like, yeah, here's like $5 or $10 for me to get my ass beat for 2 rounds and then like go home.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder. Like you could play like, I think there's enough people that like if you made seasonals kind of open to, like if you made it kind of more open, or you made at least smaller tournaments, like people might just play for the fun experience of playing against good people, or I don't know. But because it's all like digital, maybe not, right? I think part of the experience of in-person tournaments is you travel. And
right. There's just so much things that in-person gets. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that this game just like didn't make it into China, and that like super fucked LOR.
Yeah, is it ever gonna make it into China?
I don't know. I know China. So I know what happened is like it got approved to be on the wave, like the last wave of games to go into China, and then like some shit happened with our government, and China was just like, nope, no more games. And then like TFT was like the very last game from Riot to like actually get through the system. And then like LOR was supposed to go in with that same wave, but they just like it didn't. Like it just didn't make it in that wave. And TFT did, and they just like cut it off after TFT. And that's why, because LOR got like actually approved to be in China. So like it got approved, and like got all the OKs, and was supposed to go in. And then that wave, they just like cut it in half, and were like, nope, no more after this, and then let TFT through. And I think that like severely hoed LOR.
Well, they got Wild Rift in now in China though. I think, right?
I have no idea. So it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I just decided it wasn't a big deal, maybe.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that screwed over LOR a lot. But yeah. But I think that's gonna be it for this episode, or the seasonal champion episode. Do you guys have any things to end it off with? Anything you want to say?
Can we make Shurima not the most broken deck? Region?
Or region?
Patch,
yeah.
Please.
I agree.
Please.
That dude, what is Shurima, man? Every Shurima one drop is better than like half of the followers in every other region.
I actually don't know what Shurima is supposed to be.
It's just supposed to be broken. That's like its region identity is broken.
We do feel that way.
Can we just buff Freljord mid-range, please?
Yeah, I need Freljord coming back.
Yeah, I definitely need another Freljord mid-range deck. It's not like it's the best deck in the game right now.
It's just the timelines. It's just a PNZ deck.
It's
very nice.
Nerf, honestly.
Yeah. It wasn't a problematic card until it was, and then it's just always gonna get better and better, right? It's not a deck that's gonna get worse.
Yeah, like it has a very like medium floor when it came out, and then like every patch ever, any card that has a play effect or a summon effect that's like understated just buffs timelines.
Yep.
It's kind of silly.
I mean, would timelines at 2 mana even be that bad though? Like that deck would still probably be pretty good if it was 2 mana.
Wait, can't you play double timelines? You can. Right?
Yeah,
you can go Ferret and you can go Jax timelines.
Yeah, you can go Jax in Freljord.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you actually play timelines. And then you can play the third timelines deck with Chief Knack Attack, bro.
Yeah, dude,
That's my goal this season. Win with
Oh,
triple
that's so
timelines.
cringe.
No.
All right. On that note, before we start getting cringy ideas thrown into the fucking YouTube universe, I think we're gonna end it here. Let everyone know where they can find you guys at. Prodigy, where can they find you at?
I'm on Twitter, Prodigy LOR, and then yeah, Discord. You can hunt me on the Mastering Runeterra site sometimes.
Puyshpii.
Yeah, I'm also on Twitter. You can find me like Puyshpii, hard to spell, and
And I'll have all the
same as-
links. I'll have all the links in the description below too.
oh, thank you. And same as Prodigy, I'm on the Mastering Runeterra Discord. So if you have any specific questions, you can hit me up. I'll be there.
Mr. Simon.
Twitter, Salty Simon CG, and on Twitch is the exact same.
Yeah, and
That's where you can see me.
yep. And then for me, it'll be, you guys are already on my YouTube if you're watching this, and all my links are still down in the description below, like they are every single video. So that's gonna be it. Again, all these guys, the seasonal champions, card game gods, are gonna, their links to all their social medias will be in the description down below. So make sure to go check those guys out. Follow them on Twitter. We probably have some of the best LOR Twitter tweeters like in this call right now. Simon just dunks on people 24/7, and it's hilarious. So if you're not American and you like seeing Simon just dunk on North America players 24/7, or if you are North American and want to see Simon dunk on North American players 24/7, go follow his Twitter because it's fucking hilarious. But that's gonna be it for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.